Thank you so much for watching Live Impact News on WCNC.com. I'm Siobhan Riley. So great to be with you on this Saturday. The time right now is 7 o'clock. We are so happy that you have decided to join us today. We've got a great topic that we want to talk about. You have probably been following that story about how thousands of teachers and district leaders and parents and children, they marched in Raleigh yesterday. They held that rally. It's been less than 24 hours since people went to the state capitol and let lawmakers know that they are demanding that state leaders pass a budget. We've been talking about how North Carolina is the only state in the country that still has not passed a budget. And teachers, they took to the streets and they made sure that they let their voices be heard. Joining us today on WCNC.com, we have Amanda Thompson. She is the president of the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Association of Educators. Amanda, we appreciate you being with us on this Saturday.
Thank you for having me and our association, of course, to be here with you all.
Amanda, you have been hard at work. I know you were telling us earlier your voice is a little hoarse, but for good reason, because you have been in Raleigh and you have been really making sure that lawmakers hear you. Tell us about yesterday. You went to Raleigh by bus, correct? Tell us about that experience. Take us through when it first started and when you got to Raleigh.
I don't think we have enough time in your segment to really tell you about my day, but definitely leaving, it was a powerful day, energized and definitely emotional. My daughter has attended all the rallies with me, and so I brought her with me again. So she attended 2018, 2019, and then 2026. It was amazing to see educators, parents, students, community members all stand together. Here in Charlotte, I was told at least 8,000 educators.
Wow.
8,000 educators actually took a personal day to come to the rally, right? And so in Charlotte, we made sure we offered charter buses. And so we had educators that went by train, went by charter buses, and of course, carpooling. And when we arrived, it was just an amazing moment just to see a sea of public educator advocates.
8,000. That's a lot. That's a large number.
That is it's a large number for sure.
And when you look at that crowd, what was the first thing that came to your mind when you see a crowd that massive?
So like for me, I've always said that the village takes care of the school. I always say, strong communities build strong schools that build strong students. So that crowd let me know that the village is around North Carolina students, around North Carolina educators, and it let me know that we are tired, and as the famous saying is, we are sick and tired of being sick and tired. And so we're showing up to make sure not only our voices are heard, but everyone can see it. Because what I've realized in this role of advocacy, awareness is the biggest lever of change. Sometimes people do not understand what's really happening in the schools or how poor funding really affects the day-to-day classroom. So that crowd let me know this is not a protest. It's not a moment. This is a movement. And when I saw educators come and parents come and families come and community members come from the mountains to the coast, then I know we're all ready.
And I remember when we were talking last week and I asked you, do you think that lawmakers will hear you? And you said there's no way they cannot hear us. What do you think they walked away saying after seeing that turnout?
Well, first of all, I do need to give a shout out to the Mecklenburg delegation. Many of them reached out either by email, text message, and give a shout out for those who were able to stay back because we know they were in session Monday through Thursday. And so somebody did leave Friday. Big shout out to Brandon Lofton, who was there, who spoke to educators, Beth Helfrich, who's over House District 98, who actually rode the charter bus with us. Becky Carney, Carolyn Logan, as well as Julie. So I am very positive that they saw us in the streets, they saw us in Raleigh, and they heard that things got to change. We definitely need a budget. We also saw, Phil Berger's message on social media. He's just a drop. He's a drop in like a small drop in this ripple. And we know that what he is saying is not how true lawmakers who are about changing public education and the face of North Carolina education felt. So we know that they heard us and they're standing with us, and they also won't change. And we saw that even with the statement from our governor, as well as a statement from Mo Green. So we know that people, they are aware and they are with us, but hopefully they have the votes to make it happen.
What are you hoping to accomplish yet? We know that North Carolina is the only state in the country that still has not passed a budget. What do you want to see happen next?
One of the things I can say that what gave me hope is that once again, legislators met us out there. Also, we were able, NCAE was able to help get a bill, a part of the short session called Kids Over Corporation, which focuses on how we want 5% corporate tax to actually go to public schools. We know that right now our legislators are doing a really great job of bringing businesses to North Carolina because of the tax break they give them. What we want to say, if you're going to give them any type of tax, anything, 5% should go to the schools that need it. What we also know is that yesterday and the day before, and like yesterday was a tactic to a bigger strategy. So we know that this is going to bring continued advocacy. We know that we have individuals in the communities that's going to be writing their legislators and their local leaders to say, how are you raising up and showing up, for our students? And we know that it's going to continue to drive more organizing, definitely more engagement and more visibility to what needs to happen for our students and our staff.
And CMS, I went to that school board meeting on Tuesday. It was a 4-hour school board meeting, and they still did not pass the budget. They said they wanted Superintendent Dr. Crystal Hill to come back to the table and just kind of iron out the details. Today, those board members, they are asking for more clarity when it comes to certain items on the budget. They held a special meeting Saturday. You were at that meeting. What did you think about that meeting?
So let me just say this. I think I love the media, and I love how you guys are talking about kids over corporations and what we're doing with the May 1st protest or rally, right, movement. And I know that Tuesday night, there was a lot of tension in the air. And so the stories, were presented in multiple ways, right? What I can tell is that our school board members are really about access and opportunity and outcomes, right? And I think for them, they wanted a budget that was transparent. Today, I heard a lot of school board members saying, we're saying that the state needs to pass a budget, that we want to see the gap of, hey, here's the money we have. Here's what we're trying to do. Here's the gap that we can't do all we want to do because of this. So for them, I heard we want more clarity. We want to know if you say, 1.2 million is going to this, what does it really look like in the strategy and the tactics? So I want to say for me, it's kind of like when you're writing a paper, you have your first draft and then you have your final copy. I just think they want the final copy to be a little bit more detail oriented for them.
I was in Dallas yesterday talking to a teacher there. They were having a protest or a rally in Dallas. And I spoke with a teacher, and she said they couldn't even get paper to print. The teacher basically, or the principal said, because they don't have money, they can't even print things on paper. And she had something in her hand at that rally that basically said, teachers need more pay. Don't worry, this is recycled. When you think about things like that, teachers saying that principals are telling them they don't even have the money to print paper. What do you think about that?
I'm not alarmed at all. I know for me, education is a social justice issue. We know when schools are underfunded, it's our most vulnerable students and staff truly feel it, right? So I am not surprised she didn't have paper, or maybe she was only given 5 reams of paper to last for a whole semester. And so I think that I am not alarmed. I just think that is a real problem, a real solution that we need to start solving. When people tell me, oh, educators shouldn't get involved in politics, I stop and take a deep breath. Because I look at everything that happens in education, it comes from a policy. So if we are not advocating to policymakers about what's really going on in education in regard to curriculum, how grades, how we are held accountable, how students are held accountable, we're leaving it up to people who may be in the business sector and never understand. So I am not alarmed. It's just very disheartening and disappointing. But we know for us to make the change we have to make sure that we get pro public advocates in every sector, and then also share the news and own the message.
And really, speaking of message, your message is teachers need more pay. What happens if they do not get more pay? What is your biggest concern right now?
So let me just say this. I always say the real message is that our students deserve better funding. Our schools deserve better funding because a schoolhouse is not just a teacher. Before you can even enter the door, you have to go to security. You have to talk to the school secretary. So the school is the cafeteria workers, the custodians. So we all need a livable wage to be able to give our students the best. But the biggest thing is that our students deserve better. That's the message. And I think what we are seeing is that if we do not get the money that we need, we're going to see our class sizes increase. We're also going to see educators are like, I cannot do the work of 4 people because you could not fill this allotment. So they're going to leave a school system and go somewhere else. I think Mecklenburg County, we're at a hard place because South Carolina is a short drive away where educators are, getting paid more and they may feel a little bit more value. So I think for us, the message is we have to do a better job of funding our schools, and that holistically will systemically eradicate the problems that we've seen.
What keeps you in Charlotte? Because you just mentioned South Carolina, and South Carolina studies show that teachers in South Carolina are getting paid more than teachers in North Carolina.
Well, what's interesting is that, and I actually started my education career in Richland One, South Carolina, and I actually came to Charlotte originally because I could get paid more, right? And now I have a master's pay national board, and South Carolina currently is now beating North Carolina. So what keeps me here is that I absolutely love Mecklenburg County. I love our students. I love our communities. That's what keeps me here. As a this is currently my 22nd year. And what keeps me here is that I believe a change can happen. And I know that I have to be a part of that change. A lot of people can see the problem and complain about it, but I'm trying to be a part of the solution. And so I'm action oriented. What we're also seeing is that, as a veteran educator, we are also not seeing the pay raises that we see. A lot of budgets usually give the pay raises to our novice new beginning teachers, right? Well, I want to be here to fight to say no, our veteran teachers with the wittedness and the experience has to be there to support our novice teachers. So I am still here because I want to be a part of the solution, and I'm doing what it takes to build that momentum and adding the pressure that's going to drive a change for the policy.
And before we let you go, you mentioned that you have been in contact with some of the lawmakers. How confident are you that they are going to get a budget passed? How confident are you that they are going to do something, especially after seeing that large turnout yesterday?
So the word confidence is interesting. I could just say this. If Mecklenburg delegation the had the votes to do it, if it's only them, it would already be passed. Our delegation truly supports pro public policies, education policies. I think looking at statewide, we have to add more pressure because Phil Berger thinks or says that, hey, we're doing all this for educators, but we're not really seeing it day to day. So my confidence is in the community to keep adding pressure. My confidence is in the communities, the educators, parents, to vote those out who are not doing that. So my confidence is in the long game. It may not be in the short game, but I know this issue is not isolated to Mecklenburg County. It's statewide. And I know as educators, as we saw yesterday, our presence will continue to be known and definitely be felt.
Amanda Thompson, we really appreciate you being with us, the president of the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Association of Educators. Thank you for being with us on this Saturday. We're going to be back after the break, and we're going to hear from some of those speakers who were at that rally in Raleigh. Stay with us.